And the topic that we're going to be discussing is pleasure. Most men aren't taught how to gain pleasure, so therefore they seek pleasure in a variety of things, mainly women. But when it comes to a sustained spiritual pleasure that the Vedics speak to, you will never find that within your relationships. The only way that you can experience bliss or ananda or nirvana is within, in the substance or the fluid that allows for this bliss to take place is semen. When you look at the world and how it's set up, where is, hookup culture and then the online situation, men at generally are very wasteful when it comes to their seed. And what happens is a slew of medical problems and issues, but mainly it is the loss of access of pleasure through the modality of utilizing your semen as the fluid to raise kundalini, to do chakra work, to go deeper into meditation. You've heard of the concept of a wet dream, which is very closely related to a lucid dream. And generally, a wet dream cannot happen unless you have been retaining semen, meaning that the first time it happened when you was a kid, you didn't even probably even know you had it. Versus other times, a lot of times it happens when you're refraining from sex and refraining from ejaculation. So I say all of this to say, not to be graphic, but to be very spiritual and be very direct to the individual who is looking for more power, more magnetism, more luck, more peace, more connection, but at the same time is wasteful with the seed. Those two things can't exist in the same space, even though it may seem like they are. The work is within you. And then when you do retain it, it's one thing to be stressed out about it, looking for the next time you release. But it's a whole other thing when you begin to take that energy and move it up your spine in meditation, where you derive pleasure from it and you derive ease and satisfaction just from your own body with nothing going on but your mind and your energy and your magnetism. So you are sacred, you are important, you are special, even if nobody has told you that today. So, with all this being said, hopefully, this message of the day was received by those who needed to receive this message. Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. For more content like this or to support this channel, please visit my Substack, search Kyrie Anthony or the Hood Mystic, same difference. Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective, and I will catch you all on the flip side. Peace. peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. Hopefully you can hear me good. One's in the chat if y'all can hear me okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, man, I just had another baby, so I've been busy taking care of that, just being present, you know, online. People talk a lot about like child support and money and things of that nature. And, to each his own, no judgment. But being present in your child's life, you know, I have 6 children now, and just being present and being there for them in a space where sometimes you might be caught up in your sacrifices, caught up in all of the things that you gotta do to maintain and sustain. But when a baby is crying and you could hold that baby, and while you holding that baby and pacing around the house, rubbing her back, and she's crying and she's comforting or comforted, I don't find no amount of money that would be worth that, y'all. I don't know. That's just me. Like I said, to each his own. And, I'm just grateful I'm present in my children's life, but I know at the drop of a hat, I could be having a whole different situation. And just, always being present and sharing love, talking to my children, and, trials and tribulations with my children too. It's good and bad that comes along with parenting from my perspective. And I just wouldn't trade it for the world, because the reason that I'm here, the reason that I show up, the reason that I really live is for them to be alive, to just see them grow and develop. Most fortunate and most blessed, you know, and I don't even feel like I'm done. But regardless of that, today I want to talk about some things with y'all. Got a little bit of time, got some work to do, but I ran the dishwater, y'all. I put the dishes in the water, and I was about to wash the dishes. But I know once I start cleaning that kitchen, I get into a mode where y'all won't see me for the next next 10 hours. I'm washing the dishes, I'm making my coffee, I'm doing my orders, I'm making y'all ain't gonna be able to see me. So I said, let these. And another thing was, the dishwater was hot as hell. That water was hot as hell. And I'm like, this must be spirit telling me. This must be spirit telling me to do this video and connect with the family, because life be lifing, but I love discussing the transits with y'all. You understand? So let me blow it up. Let's bring it into focus. It's Monday, it's Moon Day, but we gonna be talking about Mercury, Mercury, Mars, and the North Node. Wow, Mercury and Mars. Let me get that into a greater perspective. Hold up, y'all. There we go. So Mercury and Mars are exact conjunct, which is that water's supposed to be hot, right? It's supposed to be hot, man. But man, my hands be sensitive. I don't like it. I said, man, I'm gonna let this water cool down. I'm gonna do a video. You feel me? Let me set it up, because I've been studying this stuff. I be always studying stuff, but I just be really struggling with the time to do content nowadays. And I know I just had a new baby, and I know I got work to do and things of that nature, business to run. Shout out to whiterabbitpsych.com, healthiswealthherbs.com. But yet and still I want to talk about Ishu and Shango. I mean, it feels like I'm mandated to talk about the spiritual side of life because everywhere I go, I'm getting the physical side of life, and then I'm understanding things from a psychological perspective so deeply now that I it's my right to share, right? So what I mean, right, ritual, right? It is part of the work that I do in my daily life, which opens up different portals within my direct life from an indirect disposition. So I suggest that people develop an outlet for themselves outside of working and getting money. Because once again, we're talking about money as a man made concept, meaning that it's not particularly natural when we're discussing spiritual things. Now, we can discuss money as being the result of the unification of Ishu and Shango, or we can talk about money as a result of how long you did in college. You know, the doctor that delivered my daughter this past week, she said she was in school for 12 years. You feel me? 12 years. But I ain't even mad at that because she's an excellent doctor, man. Shout out to Dr. Downing, man. She is amazing. Um, Natural birth, no epidural, healthy, happy mom, healthy, happy baby. You know, you can't really ask for more in those particular situations, but at the same time, we talking about doing something that is progressing the collective, such as being OBGYN versus, packing boxes at Amazon because they starting out at 1750 and they giving out hella overtime, right? We talking about a big difference, right? So when you look at Ishu or Mercury, we're talking about the wisdom, the inherent wisdom that one has. When you look at Mars, we're discussing the inherent actions that one has. So how does this show up in real life? This shows up as the player of the Himalayas. And ever since, a lot of women have been absorbing masculine energies, that shows up as them being players. One's in the chat, if you ever heard a girl say she done cracked the dude or she got bodies and she out here, pulling niggas and things of that nature, right? That's Mars. That's the planet of action, right? Like one of my favorite reggae songs. Action. Matanabanos. What y'all know about that? Y'all know nothing about that. Anyways, action is the raw, primal, sexual tension that human beings feel, right? It's natural. It's spring break down in Houston. Y'all seen them clips? They out there getting bucky naked, that's that Mars energy, right? And it's cool, I guess. No judgment. I don't got no judgment, no shade, no tea for me. I was 21 too. And when I was 21, 19, well, I was in prison, but that's another story. When I was 18, 17, 16, I was on the prowl. And not to say that the wild stuff, I don't know if it leads you to where it's supposed to get you to, but you got to understand and overstand that they doing a spring break March 16th, and it ain't nowhere near spring right now. I get it, it's March, but it ain't spring. It's still wintertime. But what I do see is that they could utilize this Mars Mercury portal to, circumvent and subvert the minds of melanated people and youngsters, which they do in college, right? They doing a lot of brainwashing in college to whereas, all right, it's spring break. Let's go to Florida. Let's go to Houston. Let's shake our ass. Let's have all of this sex. But at the same time, you in college. So, what is the rigor. Because once again, you gonna graduate college and it's like that Mobb Deep song. It's war outside. Ain't nobody safe from. Every year, niggas is graduating looking for jobs. And every year, niggas is not retiring. The president is 77 going on 96. He's still working. Niggas is still working. So people still working. The job market is getting smaller because the AI or whatever the case may be. When you graduate, you're going into a competitive marketplace. It ain't going to be easy for you. Meaning that when you are in college, when you are in school, it's time to lock the fuck in. You know what I'm saying? You see, niggas just be acting like it's just gonna happen for them and it's just gonna be what they think it's gonna be. But then when it ain't what they think it's gonna be, we get into the spirit of complacency. Why you sad? This job ain't hiring me. You know how many videos I've seen on YouTube about people been looking for jobs for the past 3 years? I've been looking for a job since 2019, quiet as kept. I imagine if I never even found the job and I just been looking for a job, I'd have been fucked up. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole other level to the game of life that shit. You need to deal with issue. You need to deal with your inherent wisdom and then act in unison with the things that you are naturally good at. Because when we are talking about issue, we're talking about a trickster figure. What's the trick? The trick is that you have been here many, many lifetimes and you have gained a huge cachet of wisdom. Now my son is in homeschool, so my desk is positioned right in front of the hallway, so I can see what's going on. He going tiptoe right in front of me. What? Hold on, brother. I see you. All right. What you going in my room for? Might be trying to steal a snack or something. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, we are talking about the wisdom because we're looking at Aquarius. When you think of Aquarius, you could think of it like a pool of spiritual sustenance that the individual can pull from. When you look at North Node, you're talking about what you can be in the future, not particularly relegated by what you can be, what you was in the past. What you was in the past is irrelevant because who you are spiritually is much larger and grander than what you are in this life because you've lived multiple lifetimes. So what is the trick? The trick is you not realizing how powerful you are. So when you talk about Ishu Ia, which is a mixture of Ishu and Olukun, which is the riches of the universe, which you have access to through the cultivation of who you are spiritually. But an interesting caveat to this is the planet of Mars, the energy of Shango, the energy of action, the energy of raw magnetism, raw power, getting things done. You know, it's a lot of victim mentalities going on when you have a complacent mindset, right? And looking at, and another thing that I wanted to add as it's coming to mind, Mercury and Mars is trine Jupiter. So that gives it another added caveat of power. When you look at trines represent the ease of planetary communication. And when you have all three of these planets, masculine planets, planets of action, planets of know-how, it's not from your college education. Let's lay that out. It's from your spiritual realization. And it's hard to understand and understand when you have such things as developmental fundamental things of parents and teachers and going to school and friends and family and relationships, and everybody you know is telling you exactly how life is, and the reality is that they don't actually know how life is. They just know how to exist within that bubble. So part of this journey is getting outside of that bubble if you wish to understand and overstand yourself. It's a certain level of intuition, it's a certain level of cat and mouse that spirit is playing with you. But if you're not following spirit, you're following the crowd, you're following your comfort, you're living life in reference to ignoring pain. And the goal is not to ignore pain, the goal is to alchemize pain. The goal is not to ignore confusion. Oh, I don't know that, so I'm gonna just leave it in that space. No, these are things that you can actually know. And the reason why the spiritual conversation is so important, because we can actually see the archons moving in real time. Whether it's your electric bill, whether it's your gas bill, whether it's your rent, whether it's your mortgage, whether it's your car note, whether it's your job not giving you adequate raises, not paying you a livable wage, so you gotta sell pussy on the side, sell dope on the side, drive for Uber Eats, Yelp, DoorDash. You gotta do a plethora of things just to make it, just to do what? And then you insert, the job into the equation where you got 24 hours out of the day. 8 of those hours you gotta go to sleep. And for instance, you might work for 8 hours. That means you gotta cook, sleep, work out, do all the things you need to do in an 8 hour period, and then try to get some adequate work done. It's damn near impossible. But then when it's to try to find a solution, one is not going within themselves. One is under a trick of stagnancy, complacency, avoidance, comfort. I feel good, so it is good. When I feel bad, I know what I can do to make me feel better. And I just stay upon that line. But we have to understand and understand that rough waters is not an indication that you're going to sink. I mean, it may be an indication, but in reference to all journeys, rough waters is a part of it. In life, you're going to struggle. Another example is when you have a positive disposition. Whenever you have a positive disposition, you're gonna have resistance, you're gonna have challenges, you're gonna have obstacles, and they're gonna come from the top. Because the reality, the biggest trick that the devil played is to say that he don't exist. So when you have a materialist culture, a secular culture, everything is material, that's perfect for the spiritual archons that rule it. Because if I say, oh, that policeman that pulled you over was just possessed by an archon, because you just got sales, you just, got progressed in life. And now goddamn federales is knocking at your door, the IRS is auditing you or some weird shit like that. You like that? It feel like they after me. They are after you, and they can watch you because they're non-physical. They could be a non-physical being, can be right in front of you. You don't even understand it, because we are raised and taught through a materialist secular culture. Even though the modality of money is completely through air. Niggas is not giving you a hunk of gold every 2 weeks when you get paid. You getting a direct deposit. That money is being wired electronically to your account. And then you buying everything, do y'all accept tap to pay? Looking ass boy. All right, cool. I'ma just tap it. That's how they fooled you right there. Money ain't even physical. Money is it's mental gymnastics a lot of times. Money is very spiritual. If you understood issue as a spiritual principle, as a reality, you would exit out of your body and you would do the work that you needed to do. You would program your day through your spirit, and then you would wake up and just embody that thing that you've already created. Complacency is saying, damn, I don't want to deal with the day. I don't want to go through this. I don't like this job. I don't want this relationship. I hate that I'm in school, or I'm in school, but I don't got no car. I wish I had a car. Damn, I got to take the bus. Complacency is saying, I got to take the bus. I got to do all this shit. So something is wrong and I'm going to just shut down. I'm about to quit. I'm about to crash out. I'm about to break up with this nigga. I can't take this nigga no more. That's what complacency looks like. The opposite of complacency is saying, oh, we having a rough patch right now. We're having some difficulties right now. So we're going to work through it. Ishu would interject into that saying, you already know how to handle it if you would just change your perspective. And Mars will say, you could actually do it once you're going to do it anyways. You're going to do whatever you want to do anyways. That's the reality of humans. Mars is always going to Mars. Mars is Marsing, y'all. But when you look at this conjunction with Mercury, it's like, well, what are you actually doing? Because what you are doing, what you choose to do, is a portal to how you can show up and serve the collective. And showing up and serving the collective based upon what you naturally feel and been preparing for many, many lifetimes is way much better than punching the clock. But niggas think it's a beauty contest. Niggas think it's a popularity contest. Niggas think it's a money contest. I don't got enough money to post on YouTube. What you mean you don't got enough money to post on YouTube? If you got a phone, you can post on YouTube. It's free. Well, I don't like the way my video. Well, then study on how to make your videos better. Imagine, I'm just giving an example, whatever it is. You could be making, nails, like copper nails, because they better than stainless steel nails. They hold up more. And you invest in a whole metallurgic system, and you the #1 nail seller in the county. Because you've been already an alchemist and metallurgist in past lives. And you didn't even quit your job. You just took your income tax money and you got a nail making kit. I ain't talking about press-on nails and French tips. I'm talking about nails that you hammer into wood. And you bought the metal. You melted the metal down and you molded the metal into specific screws. And you knew contractors and you said, hey man, if you're looking for specific screws, specific nails, I'm your guy or I'm your girl. Because you tapped into your Shango and your Ogun archetype and you felt like you could make shit. You felt like you could sew stuff. You ain't never sewed a day in your life. But you took your income tax money and you bought a sewing machine and you went on YouTube and you watched videos of motherfuckers sewing and you was right there sewing with them. A year from now, you can make a motherfucking coat. And now you're making designer items and you got your own boutique of clothes that you sell. You go to vending shows and trade shows and you making a killing in 9 years. Because in the past lifetimes, you have been sewing and quilting and wilting and weaving since the beginning of time, right? Because the word tantra in etymological sense means to weave. So it's very spiritual to sew, right? And I could go on and on and on and on in reference to how many different ways for which a person can tap into their spiritual inheritance. And the reason why I'm making this video is to be very specific, because we're dealing with the 11th house. We're dealing with how to show up. We're dealing with action. We're dealing with wisdom. We're dealing with portals. It's not the mundane, everyday rigmarole life got you beat down. I heard Trump is going to war with such and such is going to war with him. It's way deeper than that. What we used to call this in early conscious community, when things would happen in the news, we would call it distractions. When you look at the news today, we at an all-time high in reference to distractions. And it sounds so counterintuitive for an individual to be selfish, but that's exactly where the energy is at. So let's look at the Sabian symbol, that Mars and Mercury are conjunct, i.e. Ishu and Shango. Trying to get it to where we can see it a little better, but it's the best I could do. So Mars and Mercury, Shango and Ishu, are conjunct Aquarius 15 degrees, and it is stated that two lovebirds sitting on a fence and singing happily. The blessing bestowed upon personal achievements by the spiritually fulfilled consciousness of the soul. So ultimately, within each and every person, there is a unification that takes place between the ego and the soul, right? The Bible verse that I want to bring out to correspond, because cosmology and bibliography are synonymous, whether you know it or not. Looking at Exodus 25, chapter 20, verse 5. You shall not bow down to them or worship them, for I, the Lord, your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sin of the parents to the third and fourth generation of those who hate me. So ultimately, I translate that as the ego from a metaphysical perspective. The ego is a just God. The ego wants you to worship only it. In reference to the ego, it can I've been in this shit long enough. It can very well trickle into your spiritual development. So you're not actually doing spiritual work for the sake of unifying your soul and your ego. You doing spiritual work to get the hoes, right? You doing spiritual work to get the moolah. You doing spiritual work for peace and comfort. In reference to, what if spirituality is the unity of your personal achievements by the spiritual fulfilled consciousness of the soul? Because one thing that people tend to think is when they unify their soul with their ego, that they somehow going to be broke, walking the streets poor as hell. But the reality is that when you unify the ego and the soul, it's very little for you to worry about financially, romantically, in any other Khalid that you could ever think of. Because you figured it out. It's a person, you are in the video game. Okay? It's a nigga playing you right now. A nigga got a controller in their hands controlling you. Okay? This is the reality. We on Earth. If you niggas is somewhere else other than Earth, please let me know. Okay? But if you on Earth, you have an oversoul that's in full control of you. It is your job to recognize this and then allow this nigga to play the game. Gonna win, gonna lose. Whatever the case may be, you just the avatar. So, not to say that your life is going, that when I say that, people think like, oh, my life is just over. I don't have anything or nothing. I'm just an avatar. It's all a simulation. When you realize you just an avatar. Those desires are what your soul have been trying to manifest for you for the longest. But you keep blocking it through what? Complacency. Complacency to what? Unify the ego and the soul. And of course, you don't have, nobody is sitting here telling you that this is what you're supposed to be doing, because this world is ruled by archons. This world is ruled by false gods. And these false gods are non-physical beings that they can goddamn what is the word I'm looking for? Possess. Yeah, possess your damn mama, okay? They can possess your kids. They can possess your lover. They can possess your boss. They can, if you are a chosen one, they can possess everybody around you. There's a war going on outside. No man is safe, okay? You can't be caught up in that because you are just an avatar in the game. Love my kids. Love everybody. But I also can notice when a person is being hijacked by an archon. I ain't in control of that. You got to let these motherfuckers in, like the movie Sinners. Right? And once a motherfucker get let in, I can't let you in. Right? You possessed. You know? The symbol can be interpreted at various levels of significance, but it evidently suggests a state of being in which two complementary aspects of spiritual reality, however we may conceive them, are united. This union results in happiness or bliss. Everything that I'm talking about is to ensure that you know what's going on, to ensure that you know what the process is. Because people is going to tell you, follow me, do this, do that, join this club, join this committee, join this group, join this secret mystery, blase, blah, 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 right? And you going to spend your $50.99 a month. Niggas is still scamming out here when it comes to spirituality, right? It's still scamming. And the reality, you not going to find it in nowhere else beside yourself. I stand on that. Bliss is an inner contentment, to which bliss is not laying back on the bed and comfortable, getting served grapes, getting massaged down with oil. That might be nice, but bliss is in the midst of trials and tribulation. You understand and understand that this is just a game, right? What they say? What do they say? What do they say? They say ignorance is bliss. One's in the chat if you ever heard the statement, ignorance is bliss. And if you ever heard that statement, ignorance is bliss, it is the ignorance of the world, consciousness of the self. But if I say ignorance is bliss, you probably will connotate that as a negative thing. No, brother, you shouldn't be ignorant. You should read all these books at the library, at the university. You should compete for a job like the rest of us. It's a million college graduates this year. They all competing for the same jobs. You should be doing the same thing, brother. You don't need conscious awareness of what you can do outside of the system to sustain yourself and support your family. You just need to be a part of the system, brother. And a part of being a system is knowledge. Knowledge is power, brother. The more books you read, the more knowledge you have, the more you can succeed in life. This is what we being sold. So niggas get in front of you, they got all of the knowledge of the world, but they don't got no heart. And they don't have the knowledge to teach you, right? Like it's a lot of black educators on YouTube now, FD signifier, I mix what I like, and they have a superiority about them because they have been educated in these systems, because they don't understand and understand that ignorance is bliss. You're never going to get all the information it's too much information. So you talk about this, you talk about that, and people interested because people want information too, because they're under the same illusion. So if ignorance is bliss, but ignorant is a result of a union of ego and soul, man, we ain't talking about no light work shit. We talking about something that is very, very heavy. As the two birds are sitting on a fence and the fence separates two fields or gardens, the implication that the separative consciousness of the ego can thus be blessed, perhaps as a spiritual reward for long sustained and well done work. We're in the energy of Aquarius. Aquarius is how we show up to the collective, which is something that we all gotta face, or else we're gonna deal with samsara. And you might feel like you don't have to deal with it because you're dealing with the spirit of complacency. You just at the crib paying rent. This piss people off. So what? Yeah. And what? I got a nice apartment. Live stream from that apartment. Start cultivating flowers in your garden. I don't know. Be a painter, be an artist, be a magician, be a musician. There's so many ways to express yourself in the Aquarian age that most people feel like they have no reality in this particular modality to show up. But that's part of the game. You know it's a part of the game. How do I know that's a part of the game? Because everybody has a job. If everybody has a job and everybody needs money, and working is how you get the money, but everybody hates their job, and most people are at will employees, meaning that they can fire you at any time. You could get laid off at any time. There's no security in that job, to which I say develop a skill, go deep into meditation, figure out your magnum opus, whether it is to be a trash collector, to clean bathrooms, to paint walls, to be a carpenter, to be a mason, whatever that thing is, then that requires a state of learning and development and application. This is what you see in the world. A bunch of people who either are doing the work or being worked. Okay. This is the last symbol of the 63rd fivefold sequence, which completes scene 21. Inner happiness is seen to be the reward for all individuals who have made a valuable contribution to their community or to mankind as a whole. So what is complacency then? Complacency is when you sit back and you don't do shit for nobody, and you sit with the inner feelings of not doing shit for nobody. And it's like the Ouroboros. You a snake eating your tail at that point. Inner happiness is the reward for all individuals who have made a valuable contribution to their community or to mankind as a whole. It's not easy, but it's within you to do. If you listening to me, I know the anybody that listens to me that has the resonance or the frequency to listen to me. My sun is in the 11th house, which is ruled by Aquarius. I'm here to assist mankind through knowledge, through cosmology, through whatever I can do. But at the end of the day, my number one thing is telling people that you have to unify the ego with the soul. And the modality to unify the ego with the soul is through meditation. Clearing time, sacred space before you go to work, after you get off of work, before you go to work is better, and start programming your day. Start connecting to your soul. Start listening. Start trusting and believing in God and knowing God exists through you. God expresses itself through you. And when you don't allow God to express itself through you, then that's what the archons want. The archons want you to be complacent. They want you to pay that rent. They want you to come home, go to work, come home, go to work, come home, go to work, go online, find somebody, have sex on the weekend. Don't do nothing too crazy. Like really unify, right? Because real love is a revolutionary act. That's why most people don't deal with it, because people ain't ready to start the revolution. The revolution is love. From the Sabian symbols in astrology book by Dr. Mark Edmund Jones, Aquarius 15 is two lovebirds sitting on a fence, but this is the symbol of nature's delight in exhibiting the fruits of simple self-fulfillment. You know, shit. A person would be like, man, fuck you, hood. I just want to go to work, brother. I don't want to do shit, brother. And I'm like, man, it's literally billions of channels for niggas like you. Billions of videos for people who just want to go to work and come home. Right? And a motherfucker will be acting like we done fell out over some shit because they decided to be complacent. Because they don't understand the mark that they can make on the world. And this is all I'm talking about. This is all I'm really on for real. But at the end of the day, you see them 3 years, 2 years later. What you been doing? Oh, I just been working. I got this goddamn call center job up at the industrial park up in such and such 40 minutes away ass city. Yeah, I drive there 40 minutes there, 40 minutes back. It's a real cool job because my bosses, they cool. They be bringing pizza and donuts and shit, you know, cool as fuck. Well, how have you been showing up for the collective? I don't show up for the collective. I don't give a fuck about the collective. I've been being complacent. Why are you being complacent? I've been dealing with some rough waters, pain, embarrassment, shame, guilt, to which I use those as indicators to quit, hood. And then I would have to retort, those are indications that you are in rough water, but you have a destination. So the goal is to reach the destination, not to acquiesce to the rough waters. So Aquarius 15 goes on to say, this is a symbol of nature's delight in exhibiting the fruits of simple self-fulfillment, dramatized most effectively as a natural consummation of shared richness or tenderness in human personality. There is a high magic in any inner or psychological completeness. I'm gonna read that again. There is a high magic. So when you look at fucking Aleister Crowley, when you look at all of these occultists that's doing all of this magic, and people talk about it on podcasts, oh, John D, that nigga was raw, and this, that, and the third. There is a high magic in any inner or psychological completeness. So that in consequence, the whole world loves a lover. Okay. Now, the thing when you're dealing with your soul, you want to understand your soul, you want to know your soul, you want to talk to your soul, you want to meditation, you want to have calm, you want to have peace. No, you go into this shit with pure love. You want to go to sleep with pure love. You want to meditate with pure love. I'm gonna tell you, the universe loves a lover, even if ain't nobody there. Because I always tell this thing, when I was in prison, I got a 4-year sentence, but by year 2, I'm like, oh, this shit ain't even as bad as I thought it was. I actually like this shit. No, I love this shit. I didn't love being in jail. I love the routine. I love just waking up at a certain time. I love making my bed. I love the routine. So when you get out on the streets, you free. Free to do what? Free to crash out. So I say that all to say, and when you love your routine, you look better too. Girls like you more when you working out every day and you eating right and you doing things as you should. Men like you more as they willing to do more business with you. They trust you more because you responsible. Of course, you're responsible in business, but you also responsible to yourself, and we can see it. So I'm gonna read this again. There is high magic in any inner psychological there is high magic in any inner or psychological completeness. What does that mean? Unifying the soul and the ego so that in consequence, the whole world loves a lover. You wake up every day, you hate your job, you hate your apartment, you hate your car, you hate that you don't got a car, you hate that you do got a car and you got to pay the payments. You hate that you got a house and you got to pay the mortgage. Every time the mortgage come around, you hate that shit. To which I would say the whole world loves a lover. And the average individual is usually much more interested in the romantic than the practical rewards of life. The same way you love that girl, the same way you love that man, you can love your soul. And I promise you, nigga might not even buy you nothing for your birthday. Your girl might not even buy you nothing for your birthday. But your soul is going to make sure, I promise you. I stand on this shit, bro. I believe in this shit more than anything. If you truly go into meditation with deep love and deep gnosis, you're not going to be led astray. And I got to caveat that by don't quit your day job. It's the reason why you there. You filled out the application. You wanted it. Ain't nobody forced you to go to that goddamn job application, that interview. You went there on your own recognizance. So I say this to say, man achieves his true destiny as he embraces his fellows in a reality he has made his own. This goes back to the video game analogy. You are just an avatar in the game. It's not that big of a deal. You have been here many, many lifetimes. They said the earth been here billions of years. You have served many lifetimes as spiritual, physical beings, okay? Earth is not nothing new to you. Life is not nothing new to you. I trust and know that you got this, but you have shut off that part of you that actually has it. Man achieves his true destiny as he embraces his fellows in a reality he has made his own. So, back to Mercury and Mercury and Shango, or Mercury and Mars, Ishu and Shango. When you deal with the public based on something that you have cultivated on your own, it's the 10,000 hours method. You don't need to go to college to give something 10,000 hours, right? I study astrology for 10,000 hours and I got video documented proof of it, right? But without that being said, when you study something, you are creating a world of your own. When you know something, when you master that sewing machine, you have created a world of your own. And now you can take your creations, because you are God, right? God creates. You take your creation to your fellows, and that is your true destiny. And you have been sold, if you get this great job, they're going to pay you an hourly wage or a salary. You're going to take that money. You're not going to literally buy a house. You're going to like rent a house. You're just going to say you own it. But if you miss a payment, we're going to foreclose on it. You're not going to buy a car. You're going to pay payments on it. And if you miss a payment on it, we're going to repossess it. So all of these, you working, you got a nice apartment and all this stuff, but all that shit can be taken away from you as soon as you lose your job. And you know this. You know this in the back of your mind. This ain't real. We are on Earth. It's a spiritual reality. All of the things that have been discussed in spiritual lore, in mythology and cosmology, these things is real. These archons is trying to make it to whereas none of this shit is real. And your true destiny is pain, chaos, and confusion and war. That is not our true destiny. That is an illusion. And the more I see it, the more I'm speaking against to the archonic rule. I see it. This is Satan's little death. This is just, Satan's little season, rather. And this is his last hoorah. I get that. And trust me, I know that these motherfuckers is going to go out with a bang, okay? but we are in the realms of the twinkling of an eye. You're going to wake up one day and all of this shit is going to be a whole different ballgame. But you must not be complacent in the midst of struggle, trials and tribulations, war, famine. You have to know, and the only way that you're going to know is to know within yourself, because everything that I'm telling you, take with a grain of salt, but get deep into your meditation. Begin to love your meditation. Go deeper and deeper and deeper into your meditation to the point that you start to hear and you start to know. When positive, the degree is self-consistency, which wins in absolute loyalty and complete cooperation. When negative, unreasoning jealousy. So if you mad at somebody, you jealous of somebody, you got a problem with somebody, where have you been consistent at? Where have you been doing your work at? Jealousy is, oh shit, that just now hit me. I just read the Bible verse. You should not bow down to them or worship them, for I, Lord your God, am a jealous God. The way that all of this shit be connecting, bro, I swear, I know that it's spirit, bro. I know that it's spirit. Because I'm literally reading. The key word is affirmation. When positive affirmation, you will be self-consistent. And when you self-consistent, you will win absolute loyalty and complete cooperation. But when you have a negative affirmation, you have unreason and jealousy. The ego is a jealous God. The ego is looking at everybody else's life, trying to get in where it fit in. But see, the ego don't know what's going on for real. That's why it's jealous. When you know what's going on, it's through self-development and self-sufficiency, self-actualization, self-realization. Because we have reached a point. These people been evil on purpose. You don't know what that's like when a nigga's evil on purpose. You might steal a goddamn piece of bread when you starving. Other than that, you just an honest, integral ass person to a greater degree. But you don't know what it's like to control the whole entire world and be evil on purpose. Say, nah, we ain't gonna teach him that. We gonna teach him this. Nah, we ain't gonna show him that. We gonna show him this. Why? It's right to show him the truth. Yeah, we gonna show him a lie. Hey, let's get all of these kids. Let's get them in this like building and let's just teach them lies for 8 hours straight. Not all lies. Let's give them 25% truth and 75% lie. Right? When it comes to how they think and how they view themselves, oh, we gonna lie. Right? We give them some mathematics, some geometry, but we gonna make them hate that shit though. We ain't gonna tell them how they get rich and successful is by understanding mathematics and geometry. Nah, we gonna tell them how they get rich and successful is if they work for us. If they hard workers, if they get A's and B's. And then when they have kids, we gonna have them impose them same shits that we imposed on. Yeah, it's a cycle, bro. We got them. We got them, boys. I promise you this ain't left field. I promise you, if your ears is hearing what I'm saying, you have a higher calling to the collective that is beyond what you experience in this life. You have a spiritual calling. I throw words on my shit now, bro. I'm only talking to motherfuckers who want to hear the message. Okay? You think I give a fuck about a view or a like or a subscriber? I mean, subscribe to the channel if you like the channel. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. I care about you hearing this message and going into a realm of inner completeness, psychological completeness, dealing with the directives of the soul, of your wisdom, and acting in accordance with the soul's wisdom, to the point that you feel that you can show up to the collective. And a lot of y'all ain't even, some of y'all is babies, y'all ain't never done shit. Some of y'all already done jumped in the fucking water. Some of y'all, it's Friday, you ain't got no job anyways. Some of y'all just wake up and ain't got shit to do. Get deeper into your meditation bag. You got $35, man. Get you a little pleasure pack. You know what I mean? Lay down, bro. Shut off the parts of your brain that are jealous gods. Right? Shut off the parts of your brain that are jealous gods, that is so concerned with the dynamics of the video game, the dynamics of the simulation, but not aware of your part in it. Right? So that's all I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to do a quick video on the conjunction between Mars and Mercury, man. Before I get out of here, though, make sure you join the Substack. We got monthly moon sign readings, man. You can scan that QR code, or you could just visit me. Join the Substack, look up Hood Mystic, look up Kyrie Anthony. Got monthly tarot card pulls going down. But also articles. Every time I go live, you will be updated. Got a free, got a paid $5 a month. Get you a monthly tarot card reading plus access to the premium things that I will be offering down the pipeline. But with all that being said, man, if y'all got any questions, comments, or concerns, man, I will go ahead and end this transmission and go ahead and wash them dishes. The water should be cold by now. All right. So with all that being said, man, hopefully y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I will catch y'all all on the flip side. Peace to the tribe and peace to the collective. I seen a question, so like I said, I will answer the question. Let me see how I can read this. Is that bright light Venus in Sol Sood Aquarius? Let's see. Venus is in Pisces, but we can see what fixed star that is, though. I think South Sud is in Aquarius. Another thing about astrology that's coming down the pipe, you know how like they said like AI is a bubble and it's going out, and what they about to do to keep AI alive is put the AI onto astrology. So imagine your AI just knowing the type of shit that you supposed to have based on your chart. They gonna start asking for your birthday and things of that. I don't know why. Let's see. Give me a second. I'm gonna fix star chart for you. So Venus is conjunct the fixed star Aldir, while Mercury and Mars is conjunct the fixed star Scat. Well, it's actually Alderamin, which is in King Cepheus constellation, actually. So, yeah, but Venus is in Pisces, and you could very well see it at night. When I look up, I see a planet there at night. Yeah, you could definitely see stars and planets at night. Just depends on what exactly what exactly you're looking at. Yeah, so Venus and Jupiter are very visible generally in the spring sky. It would be um the evening star at this particular point. So if you're looking in the west, you will see Venus, and if you're looking more towards the southwest, you will see Jupiter. But the stars are generally, I mean, the planets are generally brighter than the actual star. Like a planet will twinkle if you looking in the sky and you're able to see stars. Fixed stars, some of them twinkle nonetheless, but it's like Mars. If you can see Mars, like you could look at it with your naked eye and be like, that joint is red. And then Venus is just like extremely bright. You can see Venus like at dusk or dawn, depending on where you live. But Venus is generally like the brightest star in the sky. Like like Venus, and like if you waking up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, going to work, whatever, you will be able to see Venus. I ain't never heard that before, but I got an open mind. I'm willing to learn. Yeah, I ain't never heard that before. So when we look at the moon is actually conjunct Sadal side, and Sadal side means the luckiest of the lucky stars. So oh, she tripping. She's tripping with that. But let me get out of here. Check on the family. Got some things to do. I will catch y'all all on the flip side in the next video. If you got questions, join the Substack, send me a message. But make sure you join the Substack. Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. I'll catch y'all all on the flip side.